The air in the apartment hung thick with unspoken words. 3 days. That's all it took. 3 days of a work conference in Chicago, and I walked back into this. Not a fight, not tears, just emptiness. Her note was on the kitchen counter, tucked under a ceramic coaster, the kind she loved collecting from overpriced coffee shops. Needed some space. We'll explain later. Space. Right. My gut clenched. It wasn't the note itself, it was the clinical way it was written. Like a memo. Like I was a coworker she was informing about a broken printer, not the guy she supposedly loved. The silence was deafening, punctuated only by the hum of the refrigerator, a constant, mocking reminder of the life we were supposed to be building. But let's rewind a bit, back to the beginning. Back to when Sarah and I first met. It was at a friend's wedding. I was the awkward groomsman who spilled red wine on the bride's mother. She was the effortlessly cool bridesmaid who somehow made me feel less like a complete idiot. She laughed at my self-deprecating jokes, and I was hooked. Head over heels, the whole cliché. Looking back, the signs were probably there, even then. The way she lit up when talking about her ex, Jake. The subtle digs about my safe job. But I was too blinded by lust, by the promise of something real, to notice the flashing warning signs. And then there was the Instagram thing. Sarah was, let's just say, active on social media. Every meal, every outfit, every filtered sunset had to be documented and broadcast to her followers. At first, I found it endearing, even a little funny. Gotta get that content, babe. I'd tease. But it slowly morphed into something else. A constant need for validation. A carefully curated image that had less and less to do with reality. And the comments, the endless stream of thirsty dudes leaving heart eye emojis. It bothered me, sure, but I told myself I was being insecure. She's with me, right? But the flight credits. That's a whole different level of messed up. See, last year, we planned a trip to Bali. Sarah had been dreaming about it for ages. Yoga retreats, infinity pools, the whole shebang. I booked everything, flights and all. Then, a week before we were supposed to leave, my boss dropped a bomb. A critical project needed my immediate attention. No Bali. I felt terrible. Sarah was crushed, but hey, work is work, right? We got flight credits, figuring we'd use them later. Now, the irony is just chef's kiss. The girls' nights out also started becoming more frequent. At first, it was once a month, maybe twice. Then it was every weekend. And the details, always so vague. Just dinner, babe. Drinks with the girls. We're going dancing. I never pressed her, figuring she needed her own time. I mean, I'm not a controlling guy, right? But now, looking back, I wonder who those girls really were, or if they even existed at all. The thought stings more than I care to admit. What was I supposed to do? Install a tracking app on her phone. Then came the bomb. I was mindlessly scrolling through Instagram. I know. I should have known better when I saw it. A tagged photo. Sarah. On a beach. Looking ridiculously happy. And next to her? Jake, her goddamn ex. The caption read, Paradise found. Thanks for the getaway, babe winking face. The world tilted. My stomach dropped. My blood ran cold. It was like a punch to the gut, followed by a swift kick to the balls. The space she needed, huh? Apparently. It was a tropical resort with her ex-boyfriend. My first instinct was to call her, scream at her, demand an explanation. But then I stopped. What was the point? She'd just lie, or gaslight me, or pull some other manipulative crap to make me feel like I was the one in the wrong. Instead, I imagined the confrontation. Me, yelling and pleading. Her, feigning innocence, maybe even shedding a few crocodile tears. And then I just laughed, a dry, humorless chuckle that echoed in the empty apartment. Nah, not worth it. I needed to talk to someone. Someone who would understand, who wouldn't offer some platitude about working things out or communication. I dialed Dave, my best friend since college. He picked up on the second ring. What's up, buddy? I hesitated for a moment. You're not going to believe this. And I laid it all out. The note, the Instagram photo, the flight credits, the whole damn mess. There was a long silence on the other end. Then, Dave spoke, his voice low and serious. Bro, she's playing you. Big time. Playing me how? I asked, even though I already knew the answer. Dude. Come on. The space thing, the X, the flight credits, it's all textbook. She's keeping you on the hook while she explores her options. You're the safe bet, the backup plan. I felt a wave of nausea wash over me. But I thought we were good. I thought she loved me. Dave sighed. Love? Bro, wake up. This ain't a rom-com. It's the real world. And in the real world, women do this shit all the time. He paused. Ever heard of the red pill? The next few hours were a blur of frantic Googling and late-night forum browsing. Red pill, hypergamy. Female nature, the terms felt foreign and unsettling, yet strangely familiar. It was like unlocking a secret language, a hidden code to deciphering female behavior. I started replaying past conversations with Sarah in my head, seeing the subtle manipulations, the calculated moves, the underlying power dynamics I'd been completely oblivious to. The puzzle pieces were finally clicking into place, forming a disturbing, yet undeniable, picture. I need space to find myself, she'd said, her eyes glistening with faux sincerity. I feel suffocated. I bought it, hook, line, and sinker. I'd even felt guilty, thinking I was somehow holding her back. Now, I recognize it for what it was. A carefully crafted narrative designed to justify her actions and avoid any responsibility. A get-out-of-jail-free card disguised as a heartfelt plea. Clever girl, but not clever enough. The scales were falling from my eyes, revealing a harsh, unflattering truth. And then there was the money. The countless dinners I paid for, the clothes I bought her. The vacations I footed the bill for. I'd even passed up a promotion at work because it would have meant less time with her. She always seemed to forget her wallet, or conveniently ran out of cash. I justified it as being a good boyfriend, a provider. Now, I see it as blatant exploitation. I was an ATM with a pulse, a walking, talking credit card, and she'd maxed me out. The stress of it all had taken a toll. I was constantly distracted, irritable, and exhausted. My work suffered. Projects were late, presentations were sloppy, and my boss started giving me the look. The promotion I turned down? It went to someone else. Someone who wasn't weighed down by a manipulative girlfriend and a mountain of financial obligations. Irony, thy name is Sarah. It wasn't just my heart she was breaking. It was my career, my future. So she came home. Sunday evening, tanned and glowing, like nothing had happened. She walked in, dropped her suitcase with a thud, and looked at me, a nervous smile playing on her lips. Hey babe, missed me. I didn't say a word. I just stood there, a statue of cold indifference. The silence stretched, thick and heavy. She tried again. So, about that space. Still nothing. The smile faltered, replaced by a flicker of unease. Good. Let her squirm. Let her feel the weight of her betrayal. Finally, I spoke. Get out. My voice was calm, devoid of emotion. What? She stammered, clearly caught off guard. I said, "Get out. This is over." The denial flickered in her eyes, quickly replaced by anger. "You can't be serious. After everything we've been through." I raised an eyebrow, a silent challenge. "Everything you've put me through, you mean? Pack your bags and leave. Now." She tried to argue, to plead, to guilt-trip me one last time. But I was unmoved. I'd seen behind the curtain, and the show was over. I watched her pack. A strange sense of detachment washing over me. It was like watching a stranger move out of my apartment. When she finally left, slamming the door behind her, I didn't feel sadness or anger, or even relief. Just emptiness, and a quiet sense of resolve. It was over. Of course, that wasn't the end of it. She texted me incessantly, begging for forgiveness, promising to change. She called my friends, trying to get them to intervene. She even showed up at my work, creating a scene until security escorted her out. But I remained steadfast. Her power over me was gone. I blocked her number, unfriended her on social media, and cut off all contact. It was like detoxing from a toxic substance. Looking back, I realized I'd fallen into the classic nice guy trap. I tried to be agreeable, accommodating, and supportive, hoping that it would somehow earn me her love and loyalty. Instead, it had made me predictable, boring, and ultimately disposable. I'd put her needs above my own, sacrificed my ambitions, and suppressed my own desires, all in the name of being a good boyfriend. And what did it get me? A tropical vacation for her and her ex. Courtesy of my hard-earned flight credits. Lesson learned. A few weeks later, I got a call from the credit card company. Apparently, Sarah had maxed out our joint credit card before she left. Of course she did, but that wasn't the best part. A few days after that, Dave called me, laughing his ass off. "Dude, you won't believe this. I heard from a mutual friend that Jake ghosted Sarah in Bali. She's stranded, broke, and alone. Karma, it seemed, had a wicked sense of humor. I'm not going to pretend that it was easy. There were days when I questioned my decision, when I missed her, when I wondered if I'd made a mistake. But then I would remember the Instagram photo, the flight credits, the lies, and the manipulation. And I would remember that I deserved better. I deserved someone who valued loyalty, honesty, and respect. More importantly, I deserved to value myself enough to demand those things. So, I focused on myself. I hit the gym, started eating healthier, and threw myself into my work. I even started taking guitar lessons. Something I'd always wanted to do, but never had the time for. I paid off the credit card debt, slowly but surely, and I finally got that promotion I'd been eyeing. It wasn't about getting revenge or proving anything to Sarah. It was about reclaiming my life, my happiness, and my self-respect. A few months later, I was grabbing a beer with Dave, catching up on life. "So," he said, a mischievous glint in his eye, "seen Sarah around?" I shook my head. "Nope. And frankly, I don't care to." Dave chuckled. "Good for you, man. You dodged a bullet. Or maybe a cruise missile." We shared a knowing laugh, a silent acknowledgement of the shared understanding that only comes from surviving relationship hell. "You know," Dave added, "they're all the same, just different packaging." "Maybe," I conceded, taking a swig of my beer. "Or maybe I just need to learn how to spot the crazy ones before they drain my bank account and steal my flight credits." We both laughed at that, a sound that was tinged with both amusement and a hint of bitterness. The truth is, I'm not sure if I'll ever fully understand women. But I do know that I'll never again prioritize their needs over my own. Lesson permanently engraved. The truth is, I'm still figuring things out. Maybe I'll meet someone great someday. Someone who appreciates my loyalty and my effort. Or maybe I'll just enjoy being single, focusing on my career and my hobbies, and avoiding the drama altogether. Either way, I know that I'll be okay. I've learned a painful but valuable lesson about self-respect, boundaries, and the importance of recognizing red flags early on. And that's a lesson worth more than any flight credit. And sometimes, late at night, when I can't sleep, I think about Sarah, stranded in Bali, probably still trying to scam some poor sap out of his money. And I can't help but smile. Not because I want her to suffer, but because I know that I'm no longer that sap. I'm the guy who learned his lesson, the guy who walked away, the guy who finally understood that needing space is often just code for needing someone else's wallet. And that, my friends, is a truth worth its weight in gold.